The final segment regards how public policy theorists and analysts may be misled by the theoretical models that can be tested and the concepts that are organized and measured. Classical democratic theory assumes a public that is active, informed, and democratic in their processes. Because this normative model often fails to be seen in society, classical democratic theory is held to be unrealistic, even utopian, and does not provide adequate definitions of key concepts. One of the major questions that Jack Walker asked in this article, way back in 1966, was what the difference between democratic and authoritarian systems was. Here, he refers to Joseph Schumpeter summarizing the democratic system as one in which political decisions are decided by competitive struggle for people's votes. Schumpeter sees democratic systems as defined by limited peaceful competition for formal leadership. This is procedural decision-making that is efficient, yet ensures responsiveness by elites to the public. With this approach, the prerequisites for the democratic system includes social pluralism, an extensive system of voluntary groups, psychological security, widespread education, and limited disparities in wealth. One can certainly question how much loss in one of these factors leads to authoritarian political systems. In summary, comparisons of the classical democratic theory to elite theory is that the former is unrealistic due to its utopian perceptions of society and human nature. The role of the individual in elite theory is that they are passive, with influence only after the fact through national elections, whereas in classical democratic theory, individual participation in the system leads to gaining knowledge and perspective. While the latter is more accurate with its assumptions about humanity, it revises the norms of democracy and neglects societal changes by assuming citizens are inadequate and elites are entrepreneurs, and by influencing the research agenda that considers what drives passive apolitical citizens to act and how the system acts to suppress and control internal conflict, it creates path dependencies that researchers work from. In this case, the assumption might be that the masses are asses. In other words, can the general public be expected to govern themselves when they don't know what's going on with policy most of the time? While knowledge of the U.S. political system is definitely problematic, with most Americans failing the citizenship exam, and the fact that we often choose our leaders on the basis of their looking like our preconceived notions of what leaders ought to look like, in other words, tall, male, older, aggressive, and so on, it just might be that the average human isn't concerned with politics. This doesn't mean that the average human is stupid or ignorant. Far be it from this. The research considering the poor find that they process the same amount of information as affluent elites, just that they have to spend most of their time focusing on day-to-day survival issues. And when there is spare time, if any, these individuals need to recover just to make it to the next day. In summary, it is likely that our political system is failing our average citizens due to elite myopia.